G'day YouTube, welcome back to my channel. So it's repotting season at the moment in Melbourne. You see the weather's starting to get a bit warmer with me in a t-shirt, which is great. Still a few cold days here and there coming up, but most of winter's gone now, I think. And a lot of things are popping, a lot of buds are popping on my maples and flowering on my other trees and things like that. But now it's time to get into the junipers and repotting some of these junipers. Now let me show you this tree. It looks quite nice. It needs a bit of a trim and so on, but one thing I want to do is reposition this tree. So at the moment that's kind of the front, and I want to just actually, let me make sure I get this right. Yeah, I want to actually, because it's leaning a bit too much that way, I want to bring it back to like something like that slightly, and then restyle the tree in this position. What that does, it puts these gins going out this way, which is what I wanted, rather than being more to the center. The apex is a bit off to this side. I wanted to bring it back a little bit back this way, just to center the tree. So I want to have a bit more centered of a tree with the gins on this side at the apex and the rest of the tree. But because it's only a subtle change, it still needs to happen. Otherwise I'm going to look at the tree like this all the time. So this time of year it's repotting. The tree's probably due for a repot anyway, so we're going to get into it, and it's just pretty simple. I'm just going to be pretty much doing that to it, and then eventually sometime this year, the growing season, I'll restyle it into that spot. It needs a bit of a trim. I should have done it a couple of weeks ago, but I haven't, so I'm not going to touch it now. I'm just going to let the photosynthesis happen on huge amounts of, lots of nice foliage, lots of nice healthy growth, and get the tree to develop a bit more. But yeah, slight tilt and get it done. So this is pretty easy. I've actually cut the wires off, and this pot's quite a nice little Japanese pot. This tree should just come right out actually, because there's no lip on it. Should just come out easily. No problems, should be out now. But it's pretty solid. So it's pretty much formed the shape of that pot. Put the pot aside. I've got to clean that pot up in a minute and fix it up. But nice healthy roots, nice healthy tree. I think that's all weeds anyway. This is fine stuff. So now we just start to comb it out. Now I am going to give it a wash. Wash all the roots off, brush all the soil off the roots. Now I do kind of bare root these trees, you know, to a point. Bare rooting is just washing all the old soil off. Junipers, I find they seem to respond fine to that. There's no issues, but I wouldn't do that to pines. Pines I'd never bare root. Always leave some of the old soil. So this tree definitely needs it. It's getting a bit too cakey at the top, like it's a bit hard for the water to penetrate through the top of the surface. So I think it's good. It's due for a repot, which is good. Also try and eliminate some of this moss on the trunk. One thing I did notice is I've created some gins up here, and I'm waiting for them to actually show me where the live veins are eventually. So what happens is those heavy gins, I've got 3 big heavy gins. I've got 1, 2 and 3. There's some big branches here that I've killed off. I'm just waiting to see which, especially this one, where this vein actually starts to decompose or starts to get really flattened out. So you know that that's the dead bit, so then I can create my shari down the trunk. So I'm not that good at trying to guess where the shari is going to be. Not expert enough to do that, but what I like to do is let nature take its course, and it will eventually, the live vein will be thicker and the dead vein will be thinner. So the kind of the live vein starts to pop out, so then you know where the dead vein is, and then you can carve that bit out. So that's how I do the trunk sharis. That's just the way I do it, because I'm not good enough to know where they are and where the live vein goes down and things like that. So leave that for the experts to do. So I'm just going to continue doing this. Try to comb out as much of the roots as I can. I always do the top surface first. Try and get it flat. You can see it's quite compact in here, so I might have to get. Oh, this might be a bit of hard work here. Oh no, it's not too bad. Nice healthy tree. That's some nice foliage. Shouldn't have any problems recovering. Rather than bore you this, I might stop it there, and then I'll get all these roots combed out, and then I'll wash them. and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like and be ready for the repotting and re-angling of this tree, which is more the interesting part. But yeah, you pretty much, I'll comb all this out. You can see how it's quite long, and I'll comb it out. It'll pretty much come back to a nice little flat base, about that much. These will be all gone, and then we're ready to repot. Okay. I like to get rid of all the old soil. It's very, very compact now, so it's good time to get rid of it. So I'm going to go wash that all away, and we'll be back soon. Okay. All right, so I'm back with my little tree, little Shimpaku, and it was previously in a pot like that. Now I'm going to do that. So that looks a bit better when you can see it in that kind of respect. It was like that in the pot. Now I'm just going to tilt it a little bit this way and get it going good. So I've trimmed off most of the roots that I didn't want. Nice healthy roots at the top. I tried to get rid of a lot of the weeds that were growing thing. So anyway, so because I'm tilting the tree, so it was like that, I'm tilting it this way, I'm going to have to put a bit more soil up on this side so I can mound it up, and less soil on this side so I can actually sit in the pot pretty well. So I've mounded the soil a bit more on this side, so it should sit a bit better in the angle I want. Now it's just a matter of tweaking it until I'm happy. So let's have a look. Probably need a bit more soil on that side. Looks much better. So I've got the right spot, so I'm just going to try and gently tie it in for now until I find a better way to tie it in. Hang on. So let me just thread this through. So it's changed angle, bit more of a back into the middle of the pot. So now I'm just, because I've tied it in, I can now just maneuver it into the last positions, which I'm just going to try and mound up a little bit more on this side. This sometimes can take time to get it right, but it's better to get it right and leave it in its growing position rather than try to have to change it all the time. Now I did change my mind and put the wire on top of this big root here, just so I can press, I want to try and press down that root as well. Yeah, much happier now. Now it's more in the right position. So very, very subtle changes, but huge difference to the tree. Now it's more of a nice little mini that's kind of centered. This is now off to this side. You can just, it's very, very slight, but you can just see going more to this side. So I'm really happy with that. I have planted the tree slightly this way because of this big branch here to fill in this gap here. So that's the reason why it's a little bit on that side. Just want to get this anchor right in the right spot. Cool. I'll just cut off this guy. And then it's a matter of just putting all the soil in, and that'll be it. Really work the soil into the gaps here. You want a nice firm base. Now what I'll do, instead of boring you guys with that, I'll do the work and I'll come back and show you what it looks like all cleaned up, and the soil's all clean, the soil's in there, making sure the final adjustments, and then you can have a look at the tree in its new home at the right angle. Okay, be back soon. Alright everyone, so here is the finished tree. Now I've angled it so that you can see what the front would look like if you look front on, and you can see now the tree's much more centered over the middle, and the little gins are off to this side, my right side. So I'm really happy with that. Actually, it's come up really well. So only slight change, but huge difference. Now the tree needs to be worked on, but you can probably see the real good structure of it now, really clear what I can achieve. So yeah, now that it's in its position, I'm really happy with it. So, you know, it only needs a small repot and just quick change of angle, and it makes a huge difference to a tree. So hope you guys sort of see that. I'm really happy with it. It now needs to just settle in its new pot, grow for a few months, maybe 3 or 4 months, and then I'll look after in the summer, maybe have a really thin it out and restyle it when it's all hardened off with the new growth. So there you go, guys. Lovely little repot and reposition of another little Shimpaku juniper. Yeah, next part is restyling and cleaning it up, and then hopefully I've got the shari, can create the shari on this tree eventually as well. Slow process, but you know, nice tree coming along. So hope you guys enjoyed that, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care, bye.